So I wanted to talk about priorities. This is a big one. We cannot properly get organized. We cannot hope to have balance in our life if we don't really learn to prioritize properly. Now, what I mean by this is in my previous videos, I've talked about like brain dumping and writing stuff down and how all this chaos and drama. And a lot of times with all this chaos and drama, in the moment, things we think are really important in our minds quite often are not important. It's just whatever is rattling around up there, the anxiety, whatever it is, something will pop into our mind, and all of a sudden we decide that this is the most important thing in the world and we have to get this done right now. So this is why it's so important to actually write stuff down and like reevaluate. And this is also why when I talk about work-life balance and stuff, it's one of those where you make your schedule. Now, I know some people like to make the schedule for the week on a Sunday. For me, that actually causes stress because, like, what if something happens? What if something comes up and I need to reevaluate? I don't want to have to redo schedule for many, many days when I've already put in that work. So I always make the schedule the night before. So that's what I recommend for most people. But obviously, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever feels right, you have to go according to how it's going to work for you. You can't force someone else's routine and techniques if it doesn't feel right. So always make sure it feels right for you. So maybe you make 2 days ahead or something like that, right? But the point is, you can't really, even if you're making the schedule properly and you're following it with focused attention and you're doing all the things, if you don't actually sit down and go through your list and actually take that moment to know what's a priority or not, those things you're putting on might not be your priority. And I'll say this, I have recently learned, so I am terrible at marketing. I'm one of those people I like to jump on a live, jump on a video. I write some stories, some content. I throw my knowledge out there and I just try and help people. But I've come to learn about this thing called market research and actually having your message be purposeful to reach people, things like this, right? And I am not a back end online. I've never had an online business before. So this has been a huge learning curve for me, right? I'm good at what I do, helping people, coaching people, that sort of thing. This techie, behind the scenes stuff, not my cup of tea. So I've learned a lot. And here, what I had been doing in my everyday to help grow my following, grow my Facebook group, learn how to message properly, all of these different things where I do need to get better to grow my business. Everything I was doing that was important and I had put priority on was wrong. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I'm struggling a little bit in my Facebook group because I'm not doing the right things. And of course, Facebook, the algorithms are always changing. They're always mixing stuff up. So what worked and was important in the algorithm's going to push out 1 week, 1 month, might not be the same the next month, the next week. They like to change things up. And so here I was, who knows how many months of doing the wrong things. So this is why I'm not seeing the results I'm aiming for, is because I didn't know, I wasn't prioritizing the right things. And this is what I see from a lot of my clients, is stuck in that drama. And I remember another little story of mine. I remember at one point thinking, for whatever reason, I had to organize my closet. I couldn't possibly continue on unless I organized my closet. I mean, I can't even find, and like all these things, right? Like I'm missing out on looking good. I can't organize my closet. Like I can't remember in my anxiety moment, my stress moment, why I thought this was important. I just know I thought it was important because once I got everything written down, I did my brain dump, I got my list, and I like, okay, that first big weight was lifted off my shoulders. I went back and I'm like, organized closet. And I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. And I go into my closet, and what it was I wanted to organize by t-shirt, tank top, dress shirt, I don't know, something like that, color coded perhaps. But I had shelves in my closet, and I wanted to reorganize my shelves a little bit. I mean, it's not like they were messy. It's not like I couldn't find stuff, but for some reason it made more sense if I reorganized it in this way. Again, not a priority at all, but in my stress and anxiety, I had it on my list of like, I have to have this happen in the next couple of days. Like, I have to. So then you think, okay, what actual priorities am I now neglecting by not getting the real ones done? And this is a big one if you're obviously, organizing your closet. Who knows what I took away from in that moment? But when we think of business, obviously, you know, my Facebook group, my things weren't growing like I like. We can fix this, yada yada. But if you're that person, that little startup, maybe you have a brick and mortar, you have like rent to pay, and you really like need that business to grow, it could partly be the wrong priorities that you don't even realize it. So that's part of the reason it's so important to write stuff down, actually go over that list of things and make sure these are actually your top priorities for tomorrow. And it's not, as it was in my case, I do believe it was my getting out of my comfort zone that was stopping me. I had convinced myself these were priorities because I was comfortable doing them. They were safe activities, right? And no. And so when I had like the third person that's like, you need to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I need to do that. And I'm like, ooh, okay, time to get out of my comfort zone. So really take a look at the priorities you have set, have them written down so you can kind of take that step back and read them and be like, okay, is, I don't know. I can't even think of any real good examples right now, except for my silly, is organizing my closet going to get me more clients? No, right? Like make sure that those priorities are actually your top money making, your top, going to solve those big issues for you, those goals you're trying to get to, right? And again, maybe you even have to Google it. I'm not sure. Is printing out flyers top priority for a brick and mortar store, or should I do more online because everybody's online nowadays? Top priority. Like maybe there's some research, some Googling to be done into that, but it is important to make sure that you're not stopping yourself by looking at a potential priority, getting nervous and being like, oh, I don't want to do that. And being like, yeah, it's not really a priority. Just kidding. I'll go do that thing that I've always done and I'm comfortable with. Right? And this is one of those, again, where this is a big one, guys. Actually, I have to do a whole nother video. I think I'll talk about this a bit later, but the work-life balance. This is a big mistake. This is actually the prime example of priorities. So that workaholic, we've seen it in TV, we've seen it in movies a ton. Dad is away all the time. He's working long hours. He's never home. This is like half the movies out there, the story plot line, right? Absentee dad goes to work. He's busting his butt for the family. He's making the money for the family. He's doing these things to give to his kids. He's doing all this for the kids. All of that overtime, the workaholic, in his mind, he has to do it because he's doing it for the family. Meanwhile, the family is feeling neglected. He's never there. They don't want money. They want him. He's the priority, not the money. And so they're actually resenting him for what he's doing when all the while he's doing it for them, because he doesn't realize the real priority of having the family unit, of not having your kids, hate you, is to be present. You need to ask, what do you need from me? If you have that distance, that the marriage isn't great anymore, the kids don't talk to you, okay, what's going on? What do you need from me? I need you to be here. Oh, I'm doing this for you. Well, that's not what they need. It's that misguided priority where you think you're working so much for them, but you're actually driving them away, and they don't care. the money's never as important as the time you spend as a family, right? Again, how many movies have we seen this in, right? So it's those misguided priorities that can land us in trouble. That guy, maybe, dad's going to make tons of money and he's going to buy his kids all the thing, but the kids don't know who he is. He becomes ATM, he gets divorced. All that money was for what? Right? Like, it's those hard little truths of, like, truly, why are you doing this? Follow that train of thought. I'm doing it for the family. Okay, why? Well, they need vacations and stuff. Okay, why? Well, I never had it as a kid. Okay, why? Well, my parents never made any money. Okay, why? Well, my dad was home at the dinner table with me all the time. He actually had, somewhat of a balanced life. Okay, why? Oh, because we used to do things as a father son. We used to go to games. We used to yada, yada, yada. Okay, why? So we can bond, so we can have a good relationship, so we can be a healthy family unit, right? You need to follow that thought process all the way through. Okay, why? Okay, why? Okay, why? Or, and then what? And then what? And then what? Like, keep on keeping on till you get to that, oh. And then it comes down to have a good relationship with my kids so they love me. Okay, well, might they not love you more if they saw your face every once in a while? Priorities, right? It's a lot of hard truth. It's a lot to take in and admit, but this is also where, be honest with yourself, even if you don't admit it to anyone else. Nothing changes without honesty. So I hope this is a good eye opener. If you're that workaholic, this is something to really think about. This is my big thing. I'm on that work-life balance train. That is the key. We need to start with a healthy work-life balance if we're going to ever hope to be happy and have all the things in life, right? So, little food for thought, guys. I hope this, if it hits you hard and I just punched you in the gut, I do the polite, like, sorry, not sorry, where I'm sorry that this hits you so hard. But obviously, if it hit you this hard, you need to hear it. So it comes from that place of, I'm here to help. I'm here to open up eyes. Got a good storm going. And really, sometimes we just need to hear things we don't want to hear. Really good storm. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Oh, subscribe, like the video. If you have a workaholic friend, if you know someone, a family member, a friend, whoever, maybe share this with them. If they need that polite punch in the stomach to get them on the thought train of, people always want you to be there. They want you in person. It's not all about money. Let's remember all those Christmas movies, right? Not about the money. All right, guys. Talk to you later.